TomoNews presents the Zika virus.
What does Zika do to the brain? 3 new experiments studying how Zika affects a developing fetus could provide proof of a causal link between the outbreak in Brazil and the spate of birth defects in babies that followed. The mosquito-borne Zika virus has been linked to a severe birth defect in babies called microcephaly, characterized by an abnormally small head. Thus far, most research on the virus has focused on the damage it inflicts on newborns. Now, scientists are using mice to better understand how exactly Zika damages the brain. The virus, when injected into pregnant mice, was found to preferentially target the placenta, damaging it and using it to leak into the fetus. It travels to the brain and infects neural progenitor cells, turning them into viral factories. The cells keep producing the virus until they explode and in turn infect other cells. Without the neural progenitor cells responsible for brain building, the brain does not fully develop. Mice fetus whose brains were directly injected with the virus developed structural abnormalities in 3 to 5 days. The abnormalities were similar to those seen in babies with microcephaly. But though these findings are significant, they are not conclusive, since tests were done on mice and not pregnant humans.
Florida mosquitoes test positive for Zika. Florida officials have been trying to find a Zika-infected mosquito since the first locally transmitted cases were reported in July, with the search akin to finding a needle in a haystack. On Thursday, mosquitoes carrying Zika were finally found in the Sunshine State and became the first conclusive proof of local transmission in the continental U.S. The Zika-positive mosquitoes were found in 3 samples taken from a 1.5 square mile affected area in Miami Beach, one of 2 virus hotspots in Miami. One of the samples was taken from the Miami Beach Botanical Garden, which has bromeliad flowers notorious for being mosquito breeding grounds. Florida has confirmed 49 locally transmitted Zika cases thus far, while 576 others contracted infections while traveling outside the state. Another 80 cases involved pregnant women. Most of the infected show no symptoms, but those that do report rashes, joint pain, fever, and red eyes. The virus is more harmful to unborn babies and reportedly causes birth defects like microcephaly. The new discovery has state authorities stepping up Zika prevention efforts, with Governor Rick Scott pushing for aerial spraying in the area. But with Hurricane Hermine blowing through Florida, not only will measures be delayed, the aftermath will most likely create more enhanced breeding grounds for the mosquitoes.
How the Zika virus infects the placenta. Researchers claim they have discovered why the Zika virus infects unborn children via their mother's placenta. The placenta usually sustains the fetus, providing nourishment and defending it against infections. However, in the case of the Zika virus, a new study has found that the placenta appears to enhance the disease's growth. Emory University researchers found that the Zika virus infects immune cells in the placenta and replicates without killing the host cell. From there, the virus travels deeper inside the fetus, eventually infecting the unborn child. What's your take? Do you think this discovery is going to help us combat the virus, or is all already lost? Zika may cause long-term memory damage in adults. U.S. scientists have released a new finding that shows in addition to causing brain abnormalities in developing fetuses, the Zika virus may also damage the brain cells of adults. Human brains are comprised entirely of neural progenital cells, which become fully formed neurons after people enter adulthood. Neural progenitor cells are also found in mice. They exist primarily in the subventricular zone of the anterior forebrain and the subgranular zone of the hippocampus. These are vital for learning and memory. Scientists have discovered these cells are particularly vulnerable to the Zika virus. The loss of these cells would subsequently lead to a reduction in brain volume. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention confirmed on Friday that the Zika virus is being actively transmitted in a section of Miami Beach and the Wynwood neighborhood. The CDC is advising pregnant women to avoid traveling to Miami-Dade County.
Bat houses being built in Miami Beach to combat Zika virus. Infected mosquitoes of Florida, beware. This Halloween, they may be in for their own deadly scare. Decision makers in Miami Beach have approved the installation of bat houses to offer our flying friends more reasons to hang out in areas where mosquitoes gather. To combat the spread of Zika virus, small bat houses will be installed in city parks to attract bats looking for a place to roost. Bats prefer warm, narrow spaces that offer shelter from predators and the elements. A good bat house will be built tight to mimic their natural habitats. Bat houses should be positioned for maximum sun exposure, placed 15 to 20 feet in the air to allow the bats enough room to swoop down and fly away. Mother bats are most attracted to bat houses close to a water source, so they won't have to travel too far from their young. The bat houses are being implemented because bats are expert mosquito killers, with the ability to consume as many as 1,000 in under an hour. The move is also a nod to environmentalists upset over nearby Miami-Dade County being sprayed with NALED, an insecticide used to eradicate the mosquitoes.
Mayaro virus is the newest reason to avoid mosquitoes. The discovery of a mosquito-borne virus in the Caribbean nation of Haiti is raising fears it could be the next Zika. The Mayaro virus is a single-stranded positive RNA virus, mainly transmitted by mosquitoes. Symptoms of Mayaro include abdominal and joint pain, which can last for as long as a year. The virus was first discovered in Trinidad in 1954. It then spread to French Guiana, Suriname, Venezuela, Peru, Bolivia, and Brazil. Last year, it was discovered in Haiti. Little is known about the Mayaro virus at the moment, but doctors in Florida warn that it may pose future threats. Bacteria-infected mosquitoes used in fight against Zika. Health experts plan to release mosquitoes infected with bacteria in parts of South America next year in an effort to stop Zika transmission. Wolbachia is a natural bacterium found in up to 60% of insects. However, it is not usually found in the Aedes aegypti mosquito, the main culprit for transmitting the Zika virus. To infect the mosquitoes with the bacteria, scientists had to inject it into mosquito embryos. They succeeded after numerous failed attempts. The bacteria is spread from female mosquitoes to their offspring, even if the female mates with an uninfected male. However, if an infected male mosquito mates with an uninfected female mosquito, their eggs won't hatch. The bacteria can stop viruses such as Zika from growing inside the mosquito, thus stopping them from being transmitted to humans. The Eliminate Dengue program, which developed the Wolbachia method, will be handling the deployment in South America. The group will continue to study the impact of Wolbachia mosquitoes on transmission of Zika, dengue, and chikungunya in large urban settings.
How self-destructing mosquitoes could stop the Zika virus spread. What if you could turn a species against itself as a way to combat the spread of a disease? A British company, Oxitec, may have a way to fight Zika virus. They create genetically modified mosquitoes that produce offspring that will not survive into adulthood. The company uses a tetracycline repressible activator variant, or TTAV, which ties up the transcriptional machinery of cells, causing them to die. Created in a lab, Oxitec mosquitoes are given a tetracycline antidote, which allows for normal cell expression. These lab mosquitoes will survive into adulthood, whereupon the males will be released into the wild. The offspring of the lab mosquitoes will not possess the antidote and will therefore die before reaching adulthood, reducing the mosquito population and the spread of Zika virus. The modified mosquitoes are non-toxic to predators that eat them. They also contain hereditary fluorescent markers which help researchers distinguish them from wild mosquitoes.
Paper-based Zika test can show results in 30 minutes. A team of researchers led by Harvard University has developed an efficient and low-cost test for the Zika virus. The paper card has a synthetic biomolecular sensor that screens the RNA sequences of the Zika virus. First, researchers amplify the concentration of Zika virus in the blood sample by using a mixture of enzymes and primed DNA sequences that trigger the virus to replicate. The amplified sample is then added to the paper card that contains a mixture of cellular components and biological proteins. If the Zika virus is present, the card will change color. Next, the sample will be tested on a CRISPR-Cas9 aided paper card to determine the strain of the virus, which will be indicated by another color change. The test result can be delivered in just 30 minutes. but it can be expedited by the use of a special reader. The United States, France, Brazil, India, and Austria are working on developing a vaccine for the Zika virus. However, the WHO says a fully tested vaccine may not be available for some years still. 6 ways to protect yourself from Zika. With the Zika virus continuing to spread across the globe, here are some useful tips for protecting yourself from the dreaded disease. There are a number of ways to minimize the risk of contracting the Zika virus. If possible, avoid traveling to areas with reported cases of Zika. When possible, remain in air-conditioned places, and make sure to shut screens on windows and doors. When heading to areas where you may be vulnerable to infection, apply insect repellent to exposed skin. In addition, it's advisable to keep your body covered as best you can, with trousers and long-sleeved shirts. Pregnant women should use protection during sexual intercourse. Abstaining is the only way to eliminate the possibility of contracting the virus through sex. Lastly, when going to bed, use mosquito nets to protect yourself from infected mosquitoes while sleeping. In the United States, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention has reported 2,722 cases of the Zika virus as of August 31st.